So there's a question here about R&J being in previews for several weeks now, Des. How much does a show change as you're previewing it?
In this particular case, I think the company felt well rehearsed from the time we took the stage. We've done a little bit of editing. The text is very much complete, but there are, as you know, one always does with these plays, and presumably this is what happened in Shakespeare's time too. You know, once you get it in front of an audience, you make some adjustments. I would say that the preview process has been about the audience informing us and about kind of deepening the work. We haven't made a lot of wholesale changes. I think they've been, I would describe them as adjustments. It's a difficult rhythm in rep because you're not performing every day, and so you really are dependent on the actors keeping themselves alert and keen throughout the process. Fortunately, with the company I'm working with, they have a lot of experience in this area, and so that has not been a challenge. So I think it's deepened throughout the process, and I think we'll be, I hope, peaking around this weekend.
But you're still working. I mean, you had a preview yesterday. You were working till late into the evening. Your assistant director said to me a couple of days ago, affectionately, he said, "We've had several previews. I still got 200 notes here from Des." So I guess you're making a lot of minor adjustments.
Yes.
To make sure people get to make it the best it could be.
Yeah, I think it's all about detail. Shakespeare worked with a tremendous amount of detail in the imagery. You know, we actually track image chains in these plays so that the actors have an understanding of where their particular poetic imagery fits in. And so when you're in previews, as a director, you tend to take literally hundreds of notes, just adjusting moments, you know, pauses, emphasis, and the actors happily are very responsive to that, and they of course have you know, their own ideas and challenges, so they'll often ask to rehearse a particular section if they're not feeling comfortable, and they're not shy about doing that.
Well, and that's good, right?
It's critical.
Whenever an actor comes up to you and says, "Could we talk about?" It's always a flag.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
You better have that conversation.
Right. All right. Now we got questions about 2009. The first one being, can you give us a taste of 2009? The answer is no, but we'll hint at it. And so let's begin. Will we see the same emphasis, Des, on Shakespeare and the classics in 2009?
We will definitely continue to see an emphasis on Shakespeare and the classics. I mean, we're actually doing 5 Shakespeares this year. Will we always do 5 Shakespeares? No, not necessarily. I think we're you know, I think it's important to learn from, frankly, audiences and the artists as we move forward. And I'm just beginning this journey. I think you can count on the fact that we'll place Shakespeare center stage, and we also want to continue to explore, as we are this year with the Spanish Golden Age with Fuente. We want to continue to examine Shakespeare's contemporaries. So I hope in the coming seasons you'll see perhaps some Marlowe, some Johnson, and so on, Webster. So it'll be Shakespeare and Shakespeare's contemporaries at center stage in Stratford.
And there was a question, another question from our viewers about, will there be Shakespeare's contemporaries? So the answer is yes. You're going to be seeing more of that in the years ahead. But there's yet another question about Shakespeare's histories.
You know, one of my personal ambitions, which Antoni knows about, is to do the great tetralogy, Richard II through Henry V, and at some point in my life, I would very much like to do that. I think these are the large murals that Shakespeare created, the 2 tetralogies, and I think it's only possible to truly appreciate them if you get to see them more or less back to back. And we have the resources to do that here, and we certainly have the talent pool. So at some point in the not too distant future, that would be a personal ambition of mine. We've certainly discussed the other histories. I think the histories are particularly pertinent You know, there is that that famous phrase, it's a Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. And I think when you live in interesting times, as we are, the histories are sometimes the most effective tools at dissecting those times and bringing some sort of understanding. So I think the histories are really pertinent right now.
Yeah, especially since it enables us to differentiate between what is enduring and true, because somebody wrote about it 400 years ago, and we look and we say, my God, we're in exactly the same situation in Iraq or in Afghanistan. And those things that are just, you know, one of the great challenges with the new work is it will tell you what's happening right now, but sometimes it's hard to differentiate between what's simply topical and what is enduring.
Absolutely. And you know, I think the theater, there's always a time lag, isn't there? It's not like shooting a documentary film or doing the news. There's always a contemplative time as we absorb information. You know, all plays are period plays, in a sense, even if they're written recently.
Right, right. Now, we've got some questions about you, Des, and the future of the festival. The first is, what's your favorite thing about being at the Stratford Shakespeare Festival so far?
Oh my God. You know, I think it's really a privilege to be surrounded by such talented people. That really is, you know, at the heart of the matter for me and being here in Stratford. This is so rare. You know, we are the largest rep theater in the entire world, and there are traditions here that I think are really to be embraced. I think we're doing something very important here. I think this is a critically important cultural resource in North America, and it's important that we continue to develop this festival, and you know, for the young people that are going to be coming here in the future, and for that matter, for the unborn souls that are going to be coming here. So working with this tremendous talent gives me hope and confidence that we're going to be able to do that successfully, move into the great future.
And there's a question about that, Des. How will the impressive path that you travel so far influence or affect that future that you're speaking about? Is there a dream that you especially hope to achieve here at the festival?
You know, I think I really do believe we stand on the shoulders of giants, and so, you know, this is not about dismantling anything. You know, we have a great tradition here. There are things we would like to do. We'd like to do more contemporary work, particularly Canadian work. We'd like to, at some point, start to develop perhaps even new musicals. We'd like to get the work out and around, perhaps to London, to, you know, other parts of Canada, maybe as far away as Australia. So we have a lot of ambitions here, but fortunately, Richard Bennett has left us, I think, in a very strong position so that we can hopefully seize the future.
Exciting plans, and I think we're all here at the festival very excited to be part of them. So you can be part of them too, beginning on Monday for opening night for Romeo and Juliet. Come see the plays early. It gives you an opportunity to then come in the middle of the run in August and then come back later in October. And you can see the growth and the change and the performances. It's one of the great things about the festival is that you don't just run for 2 weeks. You get to run a play for 6 months and really live it and inhabit it. And that should be an advantage to you too. Next week, we're going to come back, have a live webcast. We're going to meet the women of Troy. We're going to get a chance to see Shauna McKenna, and also we're going to get a chance to see Yana McIntosh, who will be together and being interviewed. We'll have a pre-tape with the director of the Trojan Women, Marty Meriden, as she discusses the play and her vision with the designer John Penway. And it is a very, very beautiful design and an extremely accomplished group of performers in that play. So join us next week. You can get us live on the webcast, or you can just come out here to Stratford and take in some of the great shows. Thanks for joining us.